It is my special honor to welcome all of you to the first Global Clinical Engineering Alliance members' annual meetings. Taking advantage of the virtual conference format that can facilitate both in-room participation in person and anyone else from the four corners of the world, we anticipate that this will contribute to an exciting, informative, and engaging session of colleagues from around the four corners of the world, especially members of the GCEA. My name is Yadin David, and I am proudly serving as the president of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. I have with me the founders of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance and representative designated by a member of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance to educate ourselves about each other and the functionality and the vision that they see and why they collaborated with GCEA. You know, the COVID-19 taught us that unfortunately there are hard lessons when you look at the world and realizing that we are connected. Those hard lessons suggested that we were not prepared to meet the emergency and not well integrated to meet the challenges and find solution and be able to manage healthcare resources at the best optimal way possible to help anybody and everyone in need. So when the realization at the third ICE HTMC, International Clinical Engineering and Health Technology Management, took place in Rome, in Italy, we discussed this as just opportunity. Somebody need to silence himself. Tom? As an opportunity to network, not realizing COVID is just knocking on the door. And then it was obvious what we need to do. Healthcare is local. Technology, innovation, manufacturing, and use is international. So we need to have a foundry, international foundry, that can address and guide the evolution of the clinical engineering discipline. If I can ask Kali Roy to place the agenda on the screen, we will share our intention for this meeting and the order of things to take place. The agenda will show us that we have a beginning of a typical meeting with call to order. We will identify the attendance and the quorum, introduce the founder council that is now converted into advisory council to the GCEA, introduce its member, and maybe they can say a word or two why they are in the advisory council. Then we'll go to introduce the Global Clinical Engineering membership member. And each of the members, those are the category of MOs. There are other membership categories that we'll show you later, will tell us about what is it that they do, what are the challenges, and how can we better address them working together. We'll go to a description that I identify as the state of the alliance, basically giving you a report of where did we come from, where are we going, and what is taking place inside the administration of the alliance. So we're all familiar with that. It's important that once you are familiar, you will see why you would like to help us promote and recruit additional members. We'll go into the election, which is a very important function, first time ever in the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance history. We'll announce the results of the voting, and we'll address any other businesses and Q&A session before we adjourn. So with that, let's go ahead and see what is it that the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance is based on. We are volunteers from 4 corners of the world. The Global Clinical Engineering Advisory Council is helping the president to identify where the focus is, where the light is shining, and how the evolution of the clinical engineering discipline need to be guided, and providing voice as we progress to the clinical engineering field. We're not about the past, and as a matter of fact, we're not about the present. This is a not-for-profit volunteer organization that is about the future. We believe that we have a golden opportunity for the clinical engineering discipline to flourish and grow if we will work together and focus our resources. So with that, it is my honor to introduce to you the first founder council, Professor Dan Clark from Nottingham in the UK, who is the recipient of the Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OBE, from the late Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, for services to clinical engineering, in particular during COVID-19. Dan, microphone is yours.
Yadin, thank you so much for that introduction, and it really is a huge privilege for me to be here today on this first ever GCEA General Assembly. As Yadin has said, my name's Dan Clark, and I'm a clinical engineer from the UK, and I've worked in clinical engineering the better part of 40 years now. And when I look back on my career, it's remarkable, really is, just how much support I've had during that time, and any success and achievements that I may have had during that time has only been because other people have helped me, encouraged me, and inspired me. I can go right back to my first degree, gosh, so many years ago now, studying physics, would you believe, physics at the University of York, and I was inspired there. A word often overused, but it really applies this time. I was inspired there by the teaching and example of a guy called Professor Ollie Heavens. He was an absolute pioneer in the field of laser technology, and his lectures, his seminars and lab sessions were so engaging. It got me into optics and lasers, and this in turn got me into health, because my first job was to help set up medical laser systems in the UK. And I was appointed by a real another inspiring character, a guy called Phil Byrne, and he appointed me and he supported me as we together developed medical laser systems and their rollout into the NHS. And Phil not only supported me in my sort of science and service development, but he got me into doing research. He got me into doing presentations. He got me into actually taking a PhD in spectroscopy, in tissue spectroscopy, and throughout this entire time, from being a student at university through to my work in the NHS at the very beginning, I was lucky enough to be a member of IPEM, the Institute of Physics and Engineering in Medicine, and through IPEM, I was again supported with training courses, with access to networks and fellow professionals, with conferences. I went to workshops. I led some workshops. I got used to chairing sessions and delivering scientific programs. And almost without noticing it, this support developed my professional activities alongside my scientific and engineering ones. And all these experiences, of course, then I just kind of like took for granted at the time. they strengthened me, made me into a more rounded engineer, and enabled me to develop in my career. And yes, looking back, it's been a successful career, I would say. But when I do look back on the achievement success, I do so really with a sense of gratitude to all those people and professional organizations who have helped me, and realize just how lucky I've been. But I also realize that of course, not everybody has been as lucky as that. Not everybody is as lucky to have access to all that support that I've had throughout my career. So it's a huge pleasure and indeed an honor to have been part of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance's Founders Council and to have been able to help in some small way the GCEA to create that sort of support system, which hopefully will provide help and advice and encouragement and inspire the next generation, the current generation of clinical engineers to have the sort of help and support that I was so lucky to receive during my career, to help them realize their ambitions and to have careers that are also full of achievement and success. So there is so much clinical engineering talent out there in the world, and we here at GCEA are here with your help to try and support that, nurture that, encourage that talent, to release it for the potential of clinical engineers and ultimately, of course, for the patients that we serve. So Yadin, thank you very much. I'm delighted to be a part, and I look forward to supporting GCEA as we move forward from strength to strength. Thank you. I think you might be on mute.
Thank you, Dan. As you could hear and see, Dan is an accomplished expert in the field of clinical engineering, a teacher, educator, innovator, and manager of very comprehensive hospital clinical engineering department, and now going to be focusing more and more on innovation. And as he is telling me, you know, what we are about is about the cross between patient care and technology at the point of care. We are the application of knowledge and science to the point of care. And that's important for us to carry on in our mission. Our advisory council members, you're going to see, continuing after Dan, will go with Professor Jim Ware. As you will see, representing individuals. None of them came as representing organization or a society. They volunteer as individuals and brought their expertise to the table because they believe that we need to be more integrated, more united, and there is a need for a voice for our discipline. You will see and you will hear people not only from the UK, you will hear from Italy. Hopefully, Nicholas will join us from Greece. We will hear from Canada, Brazil, South Africa, Japan, China. I'm proud and I'm humble to service under the help of this individual. It's quite an honor to receive their trust and be able to accomplish what we're doing for so short time, but we have a big vision and we'll go there. Next, we'll go to Professor Jim Ware. Just like Professor Clark, his history is, if I'm not wrong, is in chemical engineering. He received Lifetime Achievement Award from ACCE 10 years ago, and the Bob Morris Humanitarian Award about 15 years ago. And he is also the chairman of the membership committee of GCEA. Jim, please.
Okay, make a correction. I'm not a chemical engineer. I'm a PhD chemist kind of thing. And from the University of Arkansas, and that's in Arkansas is where I currently live and have been there for many, many years. I got my PhD in chemistry in 1961 and went to work actually in the space and the nuclear weapons program. After about 4 years, I got a chance to come back to Arkansas to work for the Department of Veterans Affairs hospital system, which is the largest hospital system in the United States. and working in nuclear medicine and research equipment. From there, in 1969, I was invited to talk about maintenance of medical equipment at a national meeting for the Department of Veterans Affairs. I found out they didn't have a maintenance program kind of thing. As a result, I initiated the biomedical engineering program and the hospital safety program for the Department of Veterans Affairs nationwide. And that was in 1972. Ended up doing training of engineers, biomedical engineers, or clinical engineers, as we call them now, technicians. Actually also trained the hospital engineers as well as hospital safety people, and looked at all sorts of aspects, got heavily involved with the clinical people as well, and did that as a national person, training, actually doing my training fortunately from Arkansas instead of Washington, D.C. kind of thing. Also, that developed a training program for technicians at the University of Arkansas Medical Center, which I headed up for 25 years. I also developed my own company, which ended up doing manuals and correspondence courses in the field of clinical engineering. Finally, about 15 or 16 years ago, people I trained started retiring. I thought maybe I should retire too. So I retired from that. Fortunately, Yadin picked up on me to help him with the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance, which I think is a great way to continue working on. And that, you know, I really enjoy. I worked around Yadin for, I don't know, many years kind of thing, with various other activities. And I think he's, you know, has done a great job working and getting the rest of us to work with him to develop the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. Good enough.
Thank you, Jim. And I would like to note also that Jim is our past president and carry this title with honor, and we are proud of him. Thank you, Jim. Next, we'll go to another potential officer beside the Founder Council, Mladen Poluta, who is a candidate for president-elect for the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. Professor Poluta is from South Africa, from Cape Town, and actually he previously established the only healthcare technology management program at the University of Cape Town in South Africa, and earlier received the Director of Healthcare Technology until he received a Director of Healthcare Technology at the Western Cape Department of Health. Mladen is a great thinker, is a great understanding individual of the world global engineering movements, and a great supporter of Africa integration around healthcare. And with that, it is my honor to introduce Mladen Poluta.
Thank you, Yadin. It's my honor and pleasure as well to be part of this introduction and opening to the first General Assembly of the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. I feel like I'm following in huge steps of everyone that's walked before me. I'd also share that I graduated from the University of Witwatersrand in Johannesburg in 1977. That's 30 years ago, no, 50 years ago, with a degree in electrical engineering. Interesting thing is that in hindsight, I discovered that my electrical machines professor in my final year was the older brother of Alan Cormack, who you may or may not know was awarded jointly with Godfrey Hounsfield from EMI the Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine for the invention of the CT scanner. So after graduating, I worked in the medical industry, and I went into that medical industry because during my vacation job in third year, I had got a two-month stint with a small specialized biomedical device company. And that was my first exposure to medical equipment. And I was privileged to go, for example, to the cardiac ICUs at the academic hospital at the time, and provide technical support for the intra-aortic balloon pump. So after that exposure, that really convinced me that when I graduated, this is what I wanted to be. This is the field I wanted to be in. So after working in industry for a couple of years, I then took a substantial reduction in salary and ended up in the Department of Medical Physics at the old academic hospital in Johannesburg, before moving to the new Johannesburg Academic Hospital, where I worked very closely with an electrocardiologist. In 1987, I moved down to the University of Cape Town as head of the medical electronics section in the Department of Biomedical Engineering. It was a joint appointment with Curtis Keat Hospital. Some of you also may know that Professor Chris Barnard performed the first human heart transplant there. But it is also, interestingly, the hospital where Alan Cormack had worked for a while in the medical physics department. My Damascus moment, I guess, came in 1994. It was the year of our first democratic election, a turbulent time at best. But we were crazy enough to organize a sub-Saharan regional meeting on health technology. And it was for the first time that I was exposed to this whole vista of the role and the important role of health technology in the African region, but also globally. And it was that really that convinced me that that is the direction I wanted to take from then on. So as Yadin may have mentioned, I then started, in response to the needs that had been identified, a postgraduate diploma in health technology management at the University of Cape Town, which ran very successfully until 2015, when I left to join the Department of Health. That program saw participants from 13 African countries, from the public-private sector, and not only clinical engineers and engineering technicians, but also doctors, architects, radiographers, nurses, medical physicists, clinical technologists. So it was a very rich environment for discussion around optimizing health technology in the health sector, and with a focus on the public sector. Once I'd left the University of Cape Town, I joined the Department of Health for 5 years during COVID. And those were probably the most fulfilling professional years of my life. I'm now retired, but still active in consulting, still active with a program of global health technologies, which is a partnership. It's the one we established at the University of Cape Town with Northwestern University in Chicago, but it now continues with the University of Stellenbosch. I've been blessed to be part of the IFMBE family for many years, in fact, since 1994, and the World Congress in Rio. Since then, I have been privileged to be asked to join the Founders Council under the visionary leadership of Yadin. I felt honored to have served alongside the colleagues that you have heard and will listen to shortly. And it's been real privilege. Just to end, Yadin did say that I'm an African and from Africa. And as Africa is a young continent full of energy and ideas, yes, there is a huge opportunity to bring Africa on board fully as regards the global clinical engineering family. And I look forward to that challenge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben Laden. Very well said, and delighted to hear the history and the association of science, i.e. Nobel Prize, with technology, the CT imaging that change healthcare. So technology is dependent upon to an immense degree, and therefore our field is so critical. Next, I would like to see if Tom Judd is on the line. I don't see his name in the list here. Tom, he was commuting, and I could see him before,
This
but
Tom Judd? This Tom Judd?
yay, yay. I can tell you guys that this fellow not only understand clinical engineering field like nobody else can, from A to Z, he knows it all, but also has a very, very big heart. He does not leave anybody behind. If we progress, he makes sure that everybody is with us. It is tremendous pleasure for me to work side by side with Tom on professional as well as on personal life careers. And I can tell you this Congress would not have been a reality without Tom's effort and his contribution to Global Clinical Engineering Alliance creation is equally standing up to the challenge of having a Congress in India. Tom, please.
Well, Yadin and I jointly adopted a daughter named Calaroy Stabriano, and we're only successful because of that. So after college graduation in engineering, aero engineering, I'm not going to give my whole bio. I can do this in 30 seconds. Served 7 years as a naval officer, but then became a clinical engineer. And that's 1979. I think that's the definition of 45 years ago. But I was in the room when Yadin started our American College of Clinical Engineering in the US in 1990. We began training health leaders around the world based on some WHO work together in the 90s. And anyway, did that for 25 years with WHO in 90 countries. And Yadin, as he became part of the IFMBE Clinical Engineering Division, invited me in 2015. And you know, we've grown our network very large, and I was excited when GCEA was born, and here we are.
Tom is the past chairman of the Clinical Engineering Division of IFMBE, and excuse me, and served as a liaison director for the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance, searching and creating alliances with other states, Ministry of Health, association, and think tank group. Thank you, Tom, for volunteering so big for this GCEA purposes. Next, I would like to ask Nicholas Parakalakis, and yay. Yeah. Nicholas is a unique person. Not only he can walk on solid ground, but he can sail fantastically well. And if he can manage the waves of the Mediterranean, I believe he can manage the wave of the profession and help us find the wind, raise the sail, and keep on going, following our compass. Professor Palikarakis is a very good friend. I admire him, and I'm delighted that he is giving us his time, even as he retiring, and help us to create such an international organization. Without his contribution to the Alliance, as well as to the early Journal of Clinical Engineering effort, we wouldn't have what we have today. Nicholas, microphone is yours.
Oh, Yadin, thank you very much. I'm glad and proud to be part of the group of the Founders Council of GCEA. And I don't know what to say after this introduction. Just a summary, I studied first physics, and then I went to biomedical engineering by passing through biophysics and then technical studies in technology of medical devices. I started being involved with medical devices in the 80s. Then I had the chance to meet the clinical engineering division group at the end of the 80s and beginning of 90s. I became chairman of this group for a while. But if I may say two things that I'm proud of and I think that characterize my career. One is that I was involved with education in biomedical engineering as the director of a European course in biomedical technology in Greece, in collaboration with 25 other universities in Europe. And I'm proud to say that from this course, during my period, there have been 600 biomedical engineers, almost half of them from all over Europe, and more than 30 are now colleagues in different universities all over the world. The second thing that I'm proud of is that in 91, we created with some colleagues here in Patras, the Institute of Biomedical Technology. It is a non-profit agency that aims to promote biomedical technology in Greece and further on after on a global, let's say, area. And I'm proud of INBIT, not only because it survived as a non-profit organization, but also because it had a very strong collaboration with international societies, associations like IFMBE, now in GCEA, and also, and more importantly, with WHO. We have a very long collaboration with WHO since the early 2000s. And then we had, during the period of Adriana Velasquez, this collaboration has been much more important. Now, INBIT is at the point to start a national-wide project to implement management tools for medical technology. And I think that this will be the main goal for Aris Dermidjakis, who took over as CEO of INBIT. So thank you again for the introduction, Yadin. I was not ready to give a short bio of myself today, but I'm very glad to be in this group. And I think that the GCEA will continue now, from now on, with a new force and the support of the national societies to really reach the goals that you and Tom mainly, and Mladen and Khalil have made during all these years to make it really happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicholas. As you can see, one by one, the Founder Council, now the Advisory Council of GCEA, bring to the table unique and extensive experience and vision thinking and directing, therefore, the Alliance to a great future. I'm proud to introduce our next Founder Council member, from jumping the Atlantic from Europe to South America, to my friend Said Khalil, who is retiring from the University of Campinas in Campinas, just outside Sao Paulo, and is a tremendous academician and chairman of the Professional Development and Training Committee. Khalil, it's yours.
Well, thank you, Yadin. I'm sure after listening to all those people speaking, I didn't know they were so important. What I really know, I work with friends for so many years, and it's fantastic to work with them, really. All of them, I think they give the best they have to improve and to make the future for GCEA. Well, just to make it quick, I had a PhD and master and PhD from the University of London. And when I came back to Brazil, I was expert, a PhD expert, I would say, in ultrasound. And then when I started to know clinical engineer, I really fall in love. And I said, that's the way I wanted to go. Was in the beginning of the 80s. And from then on, I participated in several activities here in Brazil. And also, when I had the opportunity to go to international, like the International Federation, I participate in the administration committee. And then I also was the chairman of the CED, the Clinical Engineering Division, as Tom, and also as Yadin. So that was the, I would say, the beginning of my international contact with everybody around the world. And this is fantastic because you know people that you have no idea how much they did for the clinical engineering field. When we started to discuss the creation of an international group for clinical engineering, I said that was my dream, something that really represents clinical engineering worldwide. And really I am really proud to work here. And I'm happy. That's the main thing. I'm happy to work, as Yadin said, voluntarily. I'm happy to work with these people, and I'm happy to work with those friends because they really are dedicated to the clinical engineering course, I would say. And now today I am, as Yadin said, I am the chairman of the Committee for Education. I think some of you already seen the webinars and the short talks GCEA is promoting, and it wouldn't be possible to do that without the collaboration of all of them. It really, you've seen some of them already speaking in the webinars. So I think in simple, to be short, this is what I've done. And I thank you all, and thank you, Yadin, for leading the GCEA so far. And I'm proud to be with you. Thank you, my friends. That's what I have to say.
Thank you. That's very kind of the personal note you make of being with friend. That's excellent comment, Said, and I'm delighted to hear that. I would like to next again transfer over the Pacific from South America all the way to Asia and to Shanghai, China, and ask Li Bin as an individual member of the Advisory Council and a person who is the president of China Clinical Engineering Association and the person that has to suffer my pressure on him making China joining us as an association, not just as individual. Li, please.
Hello, everybody. I'm Li Bin. I'm coming from Shanghai number 6 People's Hospital. About 34 years after I graduated from the university, I studied a physics subject, and then moved to the hospital radiology department. So started to familiar with the medical device. And after I go to the GE company office in the Shanghai, then I familiar with the company's engineers. Then I go back to the hospital. We start at that year. A group of our Chinese clinical engineers started to set up our association. It's called Chinese Clinical Association, affiliated to the Chinese Medical Association. Then we started cooperated with the other hospitals engineers, start to make some programs all over our China's in the China. And also with these years, we have made some many interested projects. And also Professor Zhu Dan invited Yading and Tom and many our friends to China to set up some training programs especially for clinical engineers. It's a very great support to our clinical engineers in China. And also this years we have made some competitions of the clinical skill and also the competitions of the innovation of the medical device these years. And also these project programs we start every year, and every years we have some congress of our national-wide some programs. And we are very proud in the 2015, including Yading and a lot of friends from the international different country come to China. And we have first ICEHTM Congress in the Hangzhou. That's our start, our international cooperations. And this year's China is open to the world again, and welcome everybody to China, and we will get more communicated. But this time is unfortunately we cannot get the visa to the India, so we cannot enter the Congress. But we still need to get the support, all of you, and thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Lee, as I said, is the president of the China Clinical Engineering Association. And if I'm not wrong, Lee, you have about 65,000 members in the association. And when they will join the alliance, we will be over 100,000 members worldwide. So the alliance is about to grow significantly. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We are going to be going to Stefano in Italy. Stefano was one of the earliest member who talked to me and said, do it, do it. And I was stupid enough to say, yeah, it will take a couple hours, I'll do it. And I learned better than that. So Bergamasco, sorry. After all this year, Bergamasco.
I'll change my family name for convenience of everyone. I think it's the easiest thing.
He's a good friend, but also partner at the MedTech Project Consulting Company. Previously, I believe, have also represented ECRI in Italy. And the microphone is yours, Stefano.
Thank you, Yading, and thanks to all the colleagues and friends. Yeah, well, short bio, I've been working in the field since 20 years. Slight different experience from other colleagues because I've always worked outside of the hospital with the service companies or consultancies. So this is just another perspective, as Yadin was mentioning, that we can bring diversity and different point of views. And in the last years, I've been mostly working as consultant with my company for manufacturers of medical devices for the certification of these devices. So still another point of view, because not very often we have the opportunity to see the intricacies of the certification of devices on the side of the manufacturers. So this is very shortly my experience. One thing I think for me personally is very important is that even though Yadin was mentioning that each of us as members of the Founder Council are here on a personal level, contributing voluntarily to this initial effort to start up the alliance, nothing of this for me could have been possible without our National Clinical Engineers Association in Italy. I'm sorry I couldn't be there this time for the Congress in India, but Umberto and Lorenzo are there. And I wish just to thank them and through them all the association. You know how much we are doing in Italy as an association nationally, but also to establish international relationships since many years. And the conversation that Yadin was mentioning, we had together and with Khalil in Rome, as we were having a glass of wine in a break during the third edition of this Congress. And so I think that it's so important to have a strong support behind. Otherwise, on a strictly personal level, I could not be able to provide the kind of support and experience also, because a lot of experience that we are bringing to the table comes from what we have been doing in Italy. Looking at the future, I'm happy to still be involved with the advisory council that Yadin mentioned a few minutes ago. So helping all the colleagues in the different working groups. I've been very honored to collaborate in particular with Khalil and with the educational committee, organizing the webinars and short courses and talks and so on. It has been really exciting. And now looking forward to a more structured alliance with the first elections and growing adult as an organization. One thing I'd like also to mention as a closing remark, I'm also happy that here are other colleagues from Europe. We've been hearing Nicolas and Aris is there. Our friends and colleagues from Spain are here. And we have been involving with the Alliance other national societies from Europe. And we are also having as a vision the need to establish a strong regional network that is adding value to the global alliance with the local relationships. So all in the direction of looking outside our local, national, regional boundaries, trying to contribute to clinical engineering on a scalable and global level. So I'm happy and honored to be part of this group. And I thank you all and my friends from Italy that are there in India and all the colleagues. Thank you.
Mr. Bergmagasco, thank you. Stefano, and we'll move to Elliot, another great expert, especially in the field of digital health, but much more than that in not-for-profit association and in the industry of healthcare as well. Elliot Sloan is standing by the mic, I understand?
Yes, that's right. I'm right here.
Oh.
Thank you, Yadin, and welcome to everybody here and to my colleagues around the world. I have the pleasure of speaking to you with a long background, starting in '74 with a graduation from biomedical engineering at Cornell University and spending my first 15 years at ECRI, starting with testing of medical equipment. But I sort of made the odd decision to get a graduate degree in computer and electrical engineering, which wound up putting me in charge of the information technologies programs and perhaps one of the first open source CMMS programs that was distributed around the world a long, long time ago. I met about a third of this Founders Council during my years at ECRI, the 15 years. ECRI is a nonprofit organization, and I learned the ropes of nonprofit organizations, 501c3 in the US, meaning they can receive donations and provide public goods in areas that are not served by private industry. So for 15 years, I was there. For 10 years, I worked with a medical device and pharmaceuticals manufacturer, and I was chief of regulatory and quality compliance and clinical engineering. During that time, I made the mistake of undertaking also a doctorate in information systems and technology, focusing on human factors in human-computer interface. And the upshot of that was moving to the academic world, where I've been a professor at Villanova University, teaching health informatics, databases, cybersecurity, and the like. Along the way, I also became the president of the American College of Clinical Engineering in 2001. And after completing my term as president, I helped found the Healthcare Technology Foundation with a group of prior presidents of ACCE, probably the earliest and largest of the clinical engineering societies. And the foundation was set up in order to receive donations, provide awards and grants, and also education for the healthcare field to the benefit of patients. The Healthcare Technology Foundation was started in about 2002, 2001, 2002. It was another crazy idea of mine, which Yadin was kind enough to join into and lead, and he is the permanent emeritus president of the Healthcare Technology Foundation. And he has a lot of ideas like ACCE, the Healthcare Technology Foundation, the GCEA, and others. And so the Healthcare Technology Foundation about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, was still focused on US-centric issues. And Yadin approached me and asked me if I could help transform that organization into an international and global focus. And so that has been the journey that we have been on, and we're now kind of transitioning the leadership of the foundation to Dan Clark, who is an able leader and a global visionary. And so you should see some wonderful things coming out of the Healthcare Technology Foundation and GCEA. And it's just a pleasure to be an ongoing partner and friend to this whole community as GCEA continues to grow. Thank you, Yadin.
Thank you, Elliot. And thank you, Elliot, specifically for being such a good partner in bringing the integration of the Health Technology Foundation into the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance, so this international mission can be accomplished. Thank you very much, Elliot. Next, and last of the members that are with us today is a very good friend. She loves nature. Actually, she has a photograph to show you that she is the only one that can hug the widest tree on the planet, and no one else can do it but her. Keiko Fukuta from Japan will introduce herself. The reason she's with us, she is the chairman of the awards committee, and immediately after her introduction, we will go to members or a presentation, and she will start with JACE, the Japan Clinical Engineering Association. Keiko, please.
Yes, everybody. Hello, I'm Keiko Fukuta from Japan. I graduated clinical engineering course in Japan about almost 30 years ago. After that, I passed the national examination to be a clinical engineer in Japan, and I am a qualified clinical engineer. I have been working in the domestic and international hospital, such as, international. I have been working in Uganda as a volunteer worker as a clinical engineer. Those experience was fantastic because, we have to understand each other because, situation is very different, but we always focus the challenge, but, one by one, we reduce, solve the issue. So I have been working low middle income country and high income country. So I know both sides, And also I have been working Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare in Japan. And also I worked WHO for Adriana. I remember when I was in master degree course in the Leeds University, we have opportunity to go to the WHO. And I received the phone number to call the, medical device unit. And then I said hello, and Adriana was there, and she said, why don't you come to work with me? So I have a big opportunity to work there. After that, I think my, career suddenly opened for globally. And then during the COVID-19, everybody stay home and feel loneliness, isolated. At that time, I think I received an email from Yadin, and he asked me to join GCEA board. And at that time, I was a bit nervous because of the language and so on. But, they are so familiar and kind to accept me. And so since that time, we have a meeting at least once a month. And We talked a lot of things, and I think I feel quite, feel family like now. So we have been know each other so long like now, and I'm very happy to, be here. And thank you very much.
It is our delight, Keiko, especially for those of you who don't know, whenever the founder council meeting takes place once a month on the second Thursday of the month, it is early morning in America, but still midnight in Japan. And Keiko with her PJs are showing up to every meeting in the middle of the night. That's amazingly a good commitment. Thank you, Keiko. Let's go with Jace.
Okay, again, I'm here. And good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Keiko Fukuta, the representative of the Japan Association for Clinical Engineers. We thank the GCEA board for coordinating this opportunity for our presentation. Moreover, we are very honored to be a member of GCEA. This ship called Sheepling, which is our mascot character in Japan. Change, please. Let me introduce our association. Mr. Takeshi Honma is the chair director, and our office is located in Tokyo. Next, please. It consists of a Department of General Affairs, Finance Committee, and Academic Affairs under the board directors. Among them, I am a member the International Exchange Committee, which is sharing information between global and domestic organizations. Moreover, we participate in academic congress like this. Next, please. Under the JACE, there are prefecture association of CEs. Right now, every prefecture has established each association. Next, please. Let me explain about Japanese association and the Japanese system right now. Japan Clinical Engineer Act was promulgated in 1987 by Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare for safety control of medical device, especially life support system. As soon as the specific curriculum was created, and people needed to follow it in school and must pass a national examination to hold the national license of clinical engineer. In 1990, the Organized Association of Clinical Engineers was established. After that, we were approved by Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, and the Cabinet Office accordingly. And finally, it became a current association. So in total, it's been 33 years. And the number of members is approximately 22,000 in 2021. Next, please. Approximately 97% of JACE members work in hospital or clinic with high clinical demand and supply. Most of them CE are allocated to the clinical engineering department under the clinical technology department. However, nowadays workplace ratio has been changing due to the diversification of work style. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. Okay. The main task of clinical engineer in Japan in hospital and clinic is operating equipment in the clinical environment under the direction of the physician. Typical clinical field in which CE involve respiratory therapy, perfusion, hemodialysis, and so on. Next, please. Only 20% of tasks in health technology management and 10% is patient safety. Next, please. The aim of JACE are to enhance professional ethics of clinical engineer study of academic skill and quality improvement. Improving the reliability of medical care and welfare supported by medical devices such as life support system. With the above, contribute to the program and enhance of medical care and welfare for the people. In order to achieve this aim, we work closely with the Prefecture Engineering Association. Next, please. Activities that we conduct include establishing guidelines, formulating the life education system such as e-learning course, clinical practice training, workshop, and seminar. Next, please. Moreover, annual Congress, kids and student seminar developing the certificate for professional clinical practice such as respiratory therapy and so on. Next, please. Since JACE members have been doing a lot of work related to clinical practice, JACE products many training courses and seminars, which is different from associations in other countries. During the COVID-19 outbreak, Ministry of Health Labor were able to fully understand the need for clinical engineers, such as management of ventilator and the use ECMO, by collaborating from the early stage of the outbreak with JACE. Japan Clinical Engineer Act was participated amended in May 2021. It added more various new scope of work, which require the CEs to contribute to physician task shifting, engineering in the developing of medical devices that meet the needs of the medical field. Next, please. This is my summary. Thank you very much for your attention. We are looking forward to work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Keiko. I would like to see if Warren McDonald would have time to make the next presentation from the UK. He just chatted that he needs to leave us pretty soon. So, Warren, microphone is yours.
Thank you, Yadin. And thank you, everyone. I'm going to try to share my screen because I'm here to represent the Institute of Physics in Engineering and in medicine, and we are an organization which has no, that's not going to work. Sorry. The IPEM is the Institute of Physics and Engineering in Medicine, represents physicists, engineers, and clinical scientists who work in the healthcare environment in the UK. So we are mostly NHS people. A large proportion of the members are working in NHS institutions, some in industry, some in academia. And I'm here to represent IPEM because IPEM are very pleased to support the GCEA. Yadin mentioned the lessons we'd learned from the global pandemic. And as you may know, in the UK, one of the things that we learned was that politicians aren't always the best people to make decisions and to control processes. And this particularly came to our notice that things were happening in clinical engineering, which really needed the inputs and the guidance of clinical engineers. And so we are working very hard to raise the profile and the standing of clinical engineers within the UK and also within the world. And that's why IPEM are very pleased to participate in the Global Clinical Engineering Association and to support in any way that we can. And Dan has already mentioned that he's been a member of IPEM for a while, and I've been a member of IPEM since it was formed from a merger of the Biological Engineering Society and the Hospital Physics Association. And the IPEM represent clinical engineers and other biomedical engineers and other people working in the field who, as we've already heard, many people start with physics and come into the field, and IPEM represent all of these people, and we are very pleased to be supporting the GCEA. And Yadin, that's probably enough from me anyway. Thank you very much.
Great, Warren. A very good and clear, concise description of IPEM. I can tell you that one of the most investigating application of GCEA by a potential member was done and performed by IPEM, with many questions on administration, parliamentary, and financial situation at GCEA. They found everything kosher and joined us. Great. Thank you, Warren. I appreciate that. I would like to jump to the young father, Harris, next as one of the earliest member to join the Alliance. Harris, the microphone is yours.
Hello, thank you for the introduction. I'm Aris Dermitzakis and I'm very pleased to be part of this panel. Let me share my screen, 1 second. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm here representing HELEBIT. It's the Hellenic Society of Biomedical Technology. I have the honor to be the secretary of this society. Now, a small introduction about our society. The society has around 400 members. I know that comparing to the numbers that we have hearing today, it's very, very small, but we also have to take into account the size of Greece. It was founded into the 70s. During the 70s, it was founded very, very early on the starting of the biomedical engineering, and it has a great international presence, mainly due to Professor Palikarakis. He is a member of IFMB, of EAMPES, and we are very, very happy and very, very honored to be the first member to join GCEA, as you can also see from the side of GCEA. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the state of clinical engineering in Greece. So, clinical engineering in Greece doesn't have one central or official representative of our society. So there are different medical engineering societies, but there is no one representing nationally or abroad the clinical engineering, and do not follow international developments. That's why here in HELEBIT, we have taken initiatives to this part. We have created the chapter of clinical engineering inside HELEBIT, of which I have the honor to be the secretary. We have enhanced collaboration with all other Greek societies, and we have been organizing a series of actions to keep clinical engineers informed and up to date about the development and the initiatives that are happening globally. Education is something that we have identified as a major key in the development of the clinical engineering in Greece and in general. The development of technology is huge. It needs to be constantly updated, the knowledge of all engineers. So one of the main goals is to engage biomedical and healthcare technology stakeholders in series of webinars, congresses, measure the response, and we have a target audience that involves all the clinical or biomedical engineering society as much as we can, like procurement experts, policy designers, healthcare workers, biomedical departments in hospitals and staff, and all their relatives. We try to have international collaboration as much as it is possible. We are very, very pleased and very happy to be member of GCEA, because we believe that it's very crucial to have collaboration in global level, because as we all know, throughout the nature and history, evolution is achieved only through collaboration, and we are very happy and we thank you for all the effort that you are putting on GCEA. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aris. Great presentation. We know more about your association now than just a few minutes ago. That's great. And next, immediately after Greek joined the Alliance, the Italian came, and I would like to give the microphone to AIIC. Umberto Nocco will make the presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Yadin. It's a real pleasure to be here. As you stated before, Stefano, who at the time was part of the board of IAAC, suggested you to start this adventure, and you, as you said, your words, you were so stupid to accept. And I'm really glad about that, because it's been not a very long journey, but it's been really interesting and full of nice things we've been doing together, webinars, events, and everything. I just put together 2 or 3 slides to show you what our association is today. Kaliroy. Our association was founded 30 years ago. So actually this year is our 30th birthday. And from our papers at the time, that is one of the objective of our association, to disseminate and enhance the figure of clinical engineer through protecting the professional figure, spreading the clinical engineering services in all the facilities. And one of the things that we've been doing in the past 30 years with quite a good level of success is actually this one, and promote the figure of clinical engineers in all the notified bodies and important bodies, regulatory bodies throughout Italy. As I said, this year is our 30th birthday, actually. Our board is made up of 6 people, plus the president and the past president, who is Lorenzo Leogrande, as you may well know. And this year we're having ourselves elections in about 3 weeks. We're holding another event in Palermo, and we will be voting for the new board. The next one, probably you have to click twice because there was an animation. These in figures is what is the association. Is a survey we did this year. We are roughly 2,000 members in our association, and you can see from the left side of the screen that is the growth rate we had through the years. COVID-19 was a challenge, but also was an opportunity because we could enroll in hospitals, and actually as a subsequent of that in our association, many young people who started working and who started devoting their time, and at that time was really a lot, to our profession throughout Italy. As you may see, we are clinical engineers are more or less equally divided on the territory between north, center, and southern Italy. So if I tried to, I looked for the same graph taken like 15 years ago, because the percentage were different, and now we're sort of equal throughout the entire country, which is not as big as India, of course, but still there's a lot of challenges in making our clinical engineering world pick up with other professionals inside the hospitals. And another 2 nice data I like to share with you are the fact that today, this morning, Fabiola was talking about the women in clinical engineers. Of course, our associates, our members, are 50% women and 50% men. So, and if you look at the division through the age range, you see that the younger generations of clinical engineers are more women. There are more women present in the younger generations, as older people are more of the male, which is probably a kind of coincidence, but it's also some sort of trend you see in biomedical engineering, and being clinical engineering a sort of natural evolution or work that could be done by biomedical engineering. Of course, this is one of the things we are seeing at the moment. Next one. And I'm almost finished. Of course, what do we do to keep up and keep the motor running? We organize 2 national events, a bigger one and a smaller one, in terms of time, not in terms of roughly participations and importance, of course, because when you have a 3-day event with an exhibition, there's a whole different effort from organizing one day, and those who started this event in these days know a lot about the difference about that. Of course, we're starting to working more and more on workshops and tutorials on a regional basis and on a national basis, so we can share expertise throughout the nation. We started a summer school, residential week, in training for younger people, for younger clinical engineers, and also time spent together. As being here in these days, it's easier to connect with other people and share talking to each other rather than using emails or social media and stuff like that. And the summer school is something close to that. And of course, we started a monthly newsletter to share the most important events. We have established relations with institutions, the Ministry of Health, the Central Purchasing Agency in Italy, and the National Health Institute. And of course, with other societies, both on the clinical and medical societies, scientific societies, but also with other colleagues from the what we call the administrative area, purchasing people, technical from building, facility maintenance and stuff like that. As Stefano mentioned before, and I'm finished, we are also trying to be promoters of a connection and a link between throughout Europe, since we share the same regulatory basis on medical devices and other issues because of the European Union. As we talked to you some years ago, we thought of it being really important to have some connection also within Europe, but always as part of a bigger family, which is the Global Clinical Engineering Alliance. Thanks a lot also for having us here tonight.
Great. Thank you very much, Umberto, for an informative presentation. I'm concerned about the time and would like to ask the rest of the members to see if they can shorten the presentation so we can go to the rest of the agenda. Next, I would like to ask Raquel Canovas from Spain as one of the newest members who joined us to make the presentation.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'll try to be quick. I made a little bit longer presentation. First of all, good afternoon to all. Namaste and congratulations to the Indians for the Congress. Thank you, Yadin, for organizing the Global Alliance. We are very happy to be here on behalf of the board that are sitting next door. We are really looking forward to work with you. I'm here with Jose Domingo. We are both members of the international area of the CEIC. And I will tell you very briefly, I leave the slides if someone wants to look them after or wants to talk to us or ask questions. The Spanish healthcare system is a public healthcare with universal coverage. There's a little bit of private, but it's decentralized, which is complex in 17 regions. And the only centralized issues are the regulation of medical devices and drugs, and also the regulation of the roles, which is very important, the roles of the professionals of engineering. The communities do the rest. So I've heard that in other presentations, the clinical engineer, the university degree is quite new. It was the first generations came in 2016. And the technicians are now, thanks to our society, being validated, and new degrees and schools, we have worked with them in the curriculum and the definition of the subjects, the issues that they teach in these schools. There's an industry in Spain, not so big as in Italy, Germany, or other countries in Europe. And there's an association of manufacturers, which is FENIN, with whom we have an agreement. There are the ruling institutions, the roles of the different parts, this I passed. What we do in our society, as I said, it's a relatively young society, 94. Next year will be 30 years. We have 300 members. The headquarters are in Madrid, but we have members of all different parts of Spain on the board. So we have a penetration through the territory, and we involve everyone, all engineers working in medical devices from hospitals, but also from the industry. What are our goals? We work on 4 different lines. Professional acknowledgement. listen that in all the European associations that we have talked, that's a worry for our associates. And also employment, finding employment, we have a board. We work on training and communication, on regulatory with the different ministers responsible for the different regulatories in Spain and quality guidance. And we also work on making network like this one, the European network probably with Humberto and Stefano, and innovation. As examples, the qualification of professionals, the academical technicians qualification, making the programs with the university, summer courses, and the work boards. Trainings, we do safe trainings every month. We did COVID guides. We do every 2 years a Congress. Next year is in Toledo and you are all invited. And we have every year 2 small day courses as the Italians do. And the Telegram group that was started with COVID that covered Spain and South America, it was in Spanish and worked really well. And also safe talks in the rank of communication, social media, press release, etc. So we tried that the voice and the presence of the clinical engineer is well known in Spain, as you all do and as everybody want. These are some of the safe talks that we have done, the training. The Congress in Toledo is the 5th and 7th of June. Everybody is invited to come. We do technical assessment and regulation with different ministries and entities in Spain. We have agreements with FENIN, with the IT people, with biomedical engineers. We are talking with innovation hubs, and now the Global Alliance, and maybe in the future, the European Alliance. What I wanted to say is that, as Humberto said, we are very happy to be in the Global Alliance, and there's many things that we have to work in this alliance, but also the European Alliance is important in order, because we have a common regulation legal framework. And if you want to, the legal role of the clinical engineer needs to be regulated at the European level. And I think we need to lobby in this direction with an own voice. That's the main role and what we have been talking all the time, all the European associations. Concerning the global, first of all, I would really like to thank Janine and all the founders to promote this, because I think it's a wonderful initiative. Espera, ya no se me ha ido para atrás aquí. You can use us as a bridge between Europe and South America. And with the Telegram group, it worked really well. We have a lot of contacts, and I think it's something that we can provide to this alliance, and that we can work together. I think we can do training, benchmark. We are very interested in innovation, focus on patient care and design of medical device, focusing on patient experience and on women in particular. So there are many, many things that we can do, and we are totally aligned. And we thank you again very much. And we are very happy to be in this society.
El Paradel, thank you very much and welcome to the Alliance. We're looking forward to use you as a bridge, as you suggested, between Europe and South America, especially translating some of the guidelines we have in English to Spanish and Portuguese. We have a couple more members that I would like to get to. I know time is short, but we have Abaclin from Brazil, and then we have Luis from Peru and India. So let's go next to Kumar Dailine from India.
Thank you, Yedin. Thank you, GCEA, for offering us a seat at the first General Assembly. Much gratitude to GCEA, its members, for the impactful work being carried out in uniting clinical engineering professionals from all walks of life under a single entity. We are immensely indebted to GCEA and other similar organizations that shares our interest, which is to advocate and promote clinical engineering profession. As per our observation, we find GCEA to be unique in its ability to fostering stronger relationships with clinical engineering communities, irrespective of their constitution, background, and socio-economic status. Our society, Tamil Nadu Biomedical Engineers Association, TNBMEA, is a testament to the unwavering dedication, commitment, and contribution of GCEA and other CE organizations across the globe. The message from the global clinical engineering leaders has reached us loud and clear, and thus we are here to learn from and contribute to the global clinical engineering initiatives spearheaded by the GCEA. Our employer is a not-for-profit organization. The average age of our membership is 37 years. All members of our association have secured permanent job with the government of Tamil Nadu. Considering current age of retirement, which is 60 for us, we are just 37 years. Each member of the association will practice core clinical engineering functions for assured minimum 20 years, with which we should be able to support GCEA and its projects for at least next 20 years. That is the commitment that we want to place on record at this first General Assembly. Tamil Nadu is southernmost state in India. I'm going to give an introduction. Myself, Jagdish Kumar, Secretary, TNBMEA. I have with us Joint Secretary, Alfred, and Treasurer, Kavi Bharati. We were founded in the year 2014 to promote clinical engineering and HTM in government hospitals in the state of Tamil Nadu. These are some of our objectives. It's a long list, but I would like to cut short it. So basically, there are 5 stakeholders to it. One is the membership itself, and then we have the patients, then we have the healthcare system, then we have the end users, doctors, nurses, etc. And then we have biomedical engineers who are next generation, who are studying in engineering colleges. So our association will ensure everybody is catered. In terms of patient care, we want to prevent any patient from being placed at the risk of injury. And we want to conduct maintenance awareness and training programs for doctors. In that way, we will take care of the needs of the doctors. Then optimum utilization of medical equipments to develop proposed protocols, policies, etc. And then to achieve due and rightful place for the biomedical engineers among the healthcare professional community. And then important to establish professional contacts with local, national, international bodies that share similar interests of the association. And then training younger generation of biomedical engineers, just like how clinical engineering leaders are training us, we would also want to pay it forward by training younger generation of engineers. And then proposed state health technology policy incorporated in the Tamil Nadu state health policy. So membership is government hospitals, biomedical engineers working in government hospitals. We are employed by Tamil Nadu Medical Services Corporation Limited. Total members is 41. Average age of the membership is 37. Total experience we have around in education 164 years and CE work experience 451 years. And total years available until retirement, all 41 members put together is 943. Income is primarily from annual membership subscription, and spending is mainly towards collaboration with clinical engineering organizations. So we have 5 elected office bearers, president, vice president, secretary, joint secretary, and treasurer. And we have selected executive members selected by the office bearers. We have affiliations with the Army. We are society member with Army. And then secretary is an individual member with American College of Clinical Engineering. And recently we got tied up with the GCEA as a membership organization. And recently joined as a collaborator with IFMB CED. So these are some of the projects. So our job got confirmed. We sent proposal to the government of Tamil Nadu, and now our job is permanent with the government. And we got influenced through various webinars. And then we have started our own webinar starting from May 2023. And then we are planning to start clinical engineering educational resource portal in the coming December.
Dr. Kumar, thank you very much for the presentation. It was very informative. I hope that the total history and experience of in years you described will be more than 41 members in the years to come. Thank you. I'm jumping now back to South America, where our friend Luis Vilcoman from Peru will make his presentation about their association, AppBio.
Thank you, Yadin. Hello, nice to hear you. And this presentation will be by Rosana Rivas. She is there. Let's go, Rosana. Okay. Because the Peruvian Association of Bioengineering is founded in 2013, this association is very good establishment in Peru. We are registered in public records. Naturally, we promote biomedical engineering and clinical engineering too. We have a very specific activities in clinical engineering. I will resume some activities. In the early years,
Luis, I am allowed to continue if you don't mind. Yes, go back first, please. The last one, just the last one. Go back one. Yes. AppBio has founding members, owner members, associate members, adherent members, student members, and national corresponding members, as foreigners invited as well. Next, please. And the purposes of AppBio are mainly among the scientific, biomedical, but also clinical engineering purposes. It means that all the objectives were, since the beginning, aimed to respond, support, and improve the Peruvian healthcare system, mainly. Next, please. In the earliest years, AppBio sent evidences in some hospitals. We are very proud always to share with all Hospital Nacional Cayetano Heredia, which is really a representative of what is the size of the gap in Peru healthcare. We demonstrated at the moment not just the benefits, but the high impact of the clinical engineering expertise and knowledge in the field with the staff of the hospital and in a close collaboration with the medical and nurses and biologists in the hospital. Next, please. Pilot projects since the beginning, not just until 2016, but are focused, as said, on demonstrating, promoting, and the divulgation of the value of clinical engineering in the field. It means that that not just with the speech, a theoretical one, but with the speech of evidences and best practices, we can demonstrate and make the network stronger to promote the interventions of clinical engineers. It is a very, very, very good moment to state that Peru is growing as all the countries, emerging countries, and have since the last years, since the creation of the program of biomedical engineering undergraduate program, recent 5 years, 6 years ago, we have the specialty in the undergraduate level of clinical engineers, but this specialty has just in average 2 or 1 semesters in the academic program. So it is just a short, meaningful but short training in the field. What we have in Peru is a number of engineers from electronic, informatics, industrial, mining, every specialties that are working many years in the field of hospitals. So we call them hospital engineers or health engineers, not exactly clinical engineers, because the training in that university we have just as education continuing or external diplomas, mostly for people who are adults. Next, please. In the first years, we collaborated with the maternity hospital, and we are very proud that many members of GCEA and IFMBE were with us in that moment to meet the needs in the case of natal and perinatal and neonatal health in the country. And a lot of the agenda is absolutely pending. Regulations, clinical engineering, assessment, etc. Next, please. AppBio members have a strong collaboration with universities of PUCP and UPCH, which, by the way, was the joining strategic partnership that created in 2016, we delivered the project. I was member of this committee, the creation of biomedical engineering program. We set in that program courses of clinical engineering, and we are very proud about this because the very first young group of biomedical engineers graduated promotion is now a reality. Next, please. Some of the members, Yesenia Ciesa, has done remarkable contributions in research, innovation, and development activities. As we can observe, she has made some relevant projects, but also is member of the students' work group of IFMBE and participate actively in the activities of several activities of AppBio. Next, please. In the sense of hospitals, we select one of our distinguished members as well, Patricia Ramirez, who contributed to the National Institute of Children, which is another meaningful institute. It makes research. It does also very good policies and regulations, mainly to the field of children. And here are the contributions from Patricia to the field, and we are proud of, as AppBio, of the contributions of all the members. Next, please. Myself, Rosana Rivas, I am very proud to be part of AppBio and also to contribute as elected board of IFMBE, the Clinical Engineering Division, elected board from Health Technology Assessment Division. I am a member and awarded of American College of Engineering, Clinical Engineering, member active of the Pan American Health Organization Network for Health Technology Assessment, and as I said, professor and researcher and member of the academic committee which created the biomedical engineering undergraduate program at PUCP and UPCH University. This is selected publications, one of them the handbook, and other, the book. It was selected by, we were selected as by Elsevier, one of the most prestigious scientific editorials, to be authors of health technology management systems, and we did it with the support and advisory from Toby Clark at that moment, and the extraordinary support from Herbert Boyd in his period of collaboration with us. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rosanna. Always nice to hear you, and hopefully we'll be able to also see you in the future. And we are proud that you are a member of the Alliance and looking forward to found volunteers from Peru and other members organization to serve on committees. The last presentation I would like to call on is from Abaclink in Brazil, and Pedro Brito Moreira will make the presentation. It's short, and then we can go to election. Pedro?
Hi, hello, hi Yadim. I'm Pedro. I'm a vice president of marketing of Brazilian Association of Clinical Engineering. First, I apologize, but our other director, Alexander Ferrelli, was able to attend because he had some problems. And I'm driving from Spain to Portugal, so I talk with you little things about Abaclink. And this year's we are celebrating our 20th anniversary, and have been mentioned for 3 years, during which time to be able to have many webinars, face-to-face events, and this year such we organized the Latin America Clinical Engineer, and we will start Abaclink with 60 members, and today we have more than 1,000 members and 10 regional offices, because Brazil is very, very big country, and we have different offices for regional. And first, I'm apologize. I'm driving in the highway, and I don't have a presentation here. So I'm very happy to part of GCEA, and last week I was watching the presentation at the beginning of Abaclink, and Yadim was there. I will send you these photos, Yadim, and sorry for this situation, and I'm driving.
Yeah,
and I don't have the presentation here.
Drive safely. Thank you for the comments. Don't take your eyes off the road. And we will jump to Moray Rice, who is the final presentation from Canada. Moray, thank you.
Great, thanks very much. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. I don't know, Kelleroy, do you have my slides that you can show? Or I could share my screen. Okay, I'll share my screen then.
Yeah, I think it's better if you share.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, there they are. Perfect. Never. Yeah. So welcome. I'll try and keep this short and sweet. I know this is going on. I'm Murray Rice. I'm the president of CMBS. So it's my honor to represent the society today, and welcome everybody. Next slide, please. CMBS is over 50 years old. We're a society that was actually first started by and out of the academic realm in 1965, and then over time really evolved to be primarily clinical engineers in the society. Next slide, please. Yeah, we represent 250 members. So compared to a lot of the other societies, I think we're the smallest, but we think of ourselves as small but mighty. And we have representatives from across Canada, and we're made up of clinical engineers, biomedical engineering technologists, and as well as some academic biomedical engineers. Next slide, please. We're, I guess, our annual activity. We have an annual conference every year. We have webinars. So I wanted to share with everybody here that our webinars are available on our on YouTube. So we have a CMBS YouTube channel. So you're welcome to go look up our webinars, and you can reach the webinars through our website, cmbs.ca. And also we develop resource and background information on emerging topics, white papers, and so on. And so again, they're on our website. We've done recently on, it's really actually more Canadian focused, but around equipment donation. And then I did want to put a plug in for our conference. We have an annual conference. Our next conference is coming up next May in Toronto, May 28th to 30th, 2024. So yeah, we'd welcome international participation in that. Next slide, please. Yeah, I just wanted to share some of the initiatives that are kind of new the last couple of years and CMBS is working on. One is around the right to repair realm. I guess encouraging government to set policies that would, enable ensuring that as hospital and based sort of biomedical engineers, we'd have all the tools and equipment and software and so on we need to service the equipment, and really then as well engaging with vendors to ensure they do that for us. We've started more, this really came out of women in science, technology, engineering, medicine, but then the idea around, inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility in our profession, just what we can do to promote it and educate our members around this and have talks and people's experiences and so on at our conferences and webinars. We've recently updated our clinical engineering standards of practice. And in fact, I think there's a presentation at the India conference on that, the work we've done. And so now that we've done that, we're going to start actually doing peer review within Canada there's quite a few hospitals interested in going through that process. So that's something we've been doing, and we'd be glad to share that with other members, because we find that as departments, hospital medical engineering departments, we learn a lot from that, and both doing and as well the reviewers tell us they learn a lot about going through performing the reviews as well. And then this is kind of the link in, I think, as well as GCEA. We have an international outreach group that's working. In fact, I think in India, there's we've done work with Ghana, developing a CMMS, and there's a presentation at the conference around that happening this week. So then in closing, I guess Dean had asked what drew societies to GCEA. So I guess at CMBS, we've been used to partnering with different societies. Internally within Canada, there's some local biomedical engineering groups in the eastern provinces in Ontario and Quebec that we're partnered with. At the Canadian national level, there's a group of engineering societies. Internationally, we're part of IFBME. And so then when we heard about GCEA and learned more about it, we thought it was a great fit for us and kind of our goals as a society. And so we're really pleased to be a member and participate. So thanks, everyone.
Mary, thank you very much. As it closed next door to us in North America, we're looking forward to have more volunteers from the society in Canada and help us on various committee work where we have open and vacancies for experts from your region. Thank you, Maura.
There you go.
I realize that we are running a little bit longer than what we anticipate at this point to be in the agenda. So we'll jump into the parliamentary step of election and election results. We place the candidate in front of member organization and allow a week for discussion of the candidate and the selection and the voting. We were careful to have an accurate record of who is being assigned to vote and cast the selection of the member organization to a particular candidate. And therefore, at this time, we are closing the election, and we would like to move ahead and show the results. Kaliroy?
Yes, the election committee chose the election runner platform to conduct elections. As you can see here, 9 out of 13 members have voted. 13 members who had the delegates from each member organization. We had 3 ballot questions for the 3 positions, and this is the distribution in time of the voting, and now the results. For the position of GCEA President-elect, Mlanden Poluta took 100% of the votes. Nata Zaman from United Kingdom took 100% for the position of GCEA Secretary General. And same for GCEA Treasurer for Pedro de Brito Moreira Neto. Congratulations.
You can all unmute yourself and give a hand to the new officers and the first election the Alliance has held. Congrats. We are over the time that we have, but I cannot let you go before I will mention 2 points. One, there are committee reports. Kaliroy, can you put the State of the Union front page on, please? One, there is a committee report for each of the committees that were scheduled to be presented today. We're running out of time, but we have prepared this State of the Alliance brochure that have all the committee works and the outcome. I'm sorry, Keiko, she presented a she prepared very nice presentation about the winner of the award this year. And we're running out of time, so we will have to do it during the dinner where they're all going now at the seaside. The other part is that I want to mention is the Global CE Journal. We must produce evidence. If you are not encouraging you members to publish at the Global Clinical Engineering Journal, you're not doing your duty. The only international journal that created by, administered by, and reviewed by peer of clinical engineering expert is the Global CE Journal that got recognition by several institution and organization, including Scopus. I beg you to promote the opportunity to publish so we can have the evidence and we can make sure that our stakeholders beyond our field of clinical engineers will read and will understand what is it that we bring to the table. And if we go ahead, Kaliroy, the Global Clinical Engineering Journal is a jewel in the alliance of having affiliation with periodical that is well respected. Finally, I would like to go to the last page, if we can, and that is that we are looking forward. As you can see, we have budgets, we have educational program and so on, but we're looking forward to continue to expand the GCEA program among the members, where one of the important things is recognition of excellence, international recognition of excellence. In this program of awards, we have now announced today a new award. If you can go, Kaliroy, to the last page. The new award that we're announcing today will start with 2024 is the Global Academic Award for Outstanding Contributions to the Clinical Engineering Discipline. This is an award that will be named after two professors, one from College Station, Texas in the US, Professor William Hyman, and the other one is Jiang Yunai from Beijing, China. They are expert model for academic excellence in the discipline of clinical engineer. You can read more about it when we publish this state of the alliance. I know that we have a lot of things we wanted to discuss in addition, especially the committee reports and the discussion about the vision. Kaliroy, if you can go back to the vision and mission page and make sure that everybody is understanding what is it that the alliance is about. It's to maximize the benefits for patients and their care providers from clinical engineering expertise and healthcare technology while minimizing technology risks and cost. This is the mission of the alliance. And the vision is optimize the development and deployment of safe, connected, and efficient technological tool through collaboration and alignment of global clinical engineering knowledge and expertise. There's much more we can discuss. I need to give the time back to the Congress program. And I hope that we will have another opportunity in virtual form next year to have a Q&A and further discussion among the members. Once again, I'm proud of the Advisory Council. I appreciate the time you took at different clocks around the world to participate today, and especially for your volunteering, your expertise and time to help the world to have a better healthcare systems. And with this, I call the session to adjournment, and I thank you from my heart. If you have a bottle of raki, you're lucky to celebrate now. Thank you.
Thank you.